இப்போது புதிய அறிமுகம் ஆச்சி ஹோட்டல் சாம்பார் 50 கிராம் ரூபாய் 20 மட்டுமே.
Taste the Daily.
Mr. Gold கடல எண்ணெய் தான் வாங்குறேன். ஏன் தெரியுமா? சாதாரண ஆயிலை விட சமையல் டேஸ்டாவும் இருக்கும், ஹெல்தியாவும் இருக்கும்.
This afternoon in somewhat challenging conditions. I have to say the last podium was as entertaining as the race was, featuring a Jelter Hufner's phone and a lack of champagne in the Pro-Ams. But hey, it was all very good. And I think they want to get back in the drive because the rain is now coming down. We don't need to have a look at the tyres on these cars, do we? We know they are going to be running in wet weather tyres. It's the last race of the day, round 2 of Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe 2025 for the club division. We're on board there very, very briefly with Ajith Kumar, the superstar pro actor from India, who is at the wheel of the silver car, and he has a lot of cars in front of him, but there's a lot of gaps on the grid. We did see a fair bit of damage in the previous race, so a few less cars than maybe we had hoped for. If we can get through this one without a yellow or indeed a red flag, I will be somewhat surprised, but I'm prepared to be surprised. These are great drivers, real entertainers. If it was me, my heart would be racing as I sat on the grid. They are staring at an empty track in front of them. The rain lights are on. The cars sat silently at the moment with just the engines ticking over. And in just a few moments, they will start their formation lap. It will be, once again, a rolling start for the club division. To remind you that these cars do have ABS, unlike the previous race that we saw where the cars do not have ABS. These ones do. So perhaps a little bit of help under braking. We're going to need more than that for this, aren't they? It's Marabi Mekvabishvili. Great comeback in that last race. Starts on pole position with Felipe Wills alongside Andre Fernandez. Javier Ripoll Jr., mixed races for them. They're on row 2. Angelo Fontana, Tobias Vasquez, and Reinhold Kran and Lee Mole. That's the first 4 rows of the grid. Jan Jaap van Roon and Lennart Hiemstra are on row 5. Ahead of Alexander Dobik and Marcus Neuhofer, Eric Wagner and Patrick Kuhnhaar. Keep an eye on him, our pole sitter in the GT4 race. Then Dominic Bastian and David Harrison. I'm not sure if he's on the grid or not after a lot of damage in the previous race. Peter Sander and Ernst Inderbitsen are on the next row, and they're ahead of Eric Santos, Ajith Kumar, and then Kaspar Hockerboom and David von Rosen bringing up the rear of the pack. Car, I think it was car 16, was at the very back. Evgenii Leonov, and I'll need Piers. Perhaps if you get a moment, Piers, you can just give me an update on what's happened to the Leonov car there. But an interesting grid in these slippery conditions as the cars circulate around. And Leonov, with a lot of work to do from there, on board with Philip Wills, and he has the cars in front of him with the rain lights burning through the mist. But a very mixed race for many of these front runners. And Marabi Mekvabishvili, he was having to fight his way through after an earlier stoppage, earlier spin, should I say, and he came back through the pack showing great pace, and he must fancy his chances from the front of the pack this time around. So the car's tiptoeing around in these wet conditions. Hopefully we'll get to find out what actually did happen to Evgenii Leonov, but by my calculations, he's starting somewhere at the absolute back of the pack. So the winner from the previous race, well, he looked very good, didn't he? And we'll see how he does from the very back of the pack, particularly in these tricky conditions. But pole sitter is going to be Marabi Mekvabishvili, and he will want to get a good run into that first turn. But Felipe Wills has proven to be a very useful customer in the racing. Javier Ripoll Jr. there as well, just loitering in the background, as is also the case for Tobias Vasquez. So lots of action still to come. 30 minutes plus 1 lap of racing is about to commence. Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe 2025 crosses the line for their second race of the day. Round 2 is go. Their headlights blazing through the mist, under braking into turn 1. Marabi Mekbabishvili did have a bit of a jump on Philip Wills going into the, going across the start and finish line. But now Philip Wills takes the advantage into the lead of the race. Also there, Javier Ripoll Jr. challenging for that lead position. So the rest of the cars just tiptoeing their way around turn 3 and in towards turn 4. Really important just to keep it all pointing in the right direction. We need a bit of time to try and generate a bit of heat in the tyres. And look at Philip Wills already has broken clear of second place, and it's Javier Ripoll Jr.'s up into second. So Marabi Mekbabishvili has already dropped down into third place and maybe deciding that discretion is the better part of valor in these slippery conditions. Better to finish in the places than end up turning it around and ending up with damage or indeed a non-finish. Tobias Vasquez in there as well. Angelo Fontana, haven't mentioned him, he's in the battle as well for positions. And there is the car that started stone last, Evgenii Leonov, fighting his way up through the pack already. And he has done a sterling job in just one lap. Javier Ripoll Jr., look at the visibility. There is none. Car number 91 staring at the rain light in front, burning through the mist, looking hard to try and get the right braking point. He doesn't want to miss that. He doesn't want to turn the car around. It is an absolute fingertip job driving these cars around. He is concentrating so hard. The number 91 car, Javier Ripoll Jr., in fourth place at the moment. Ahead of him is Andre Fernandez, and in fact, Fernandez is behind him. So Marabi it is Philip Wills in front of him. So Javier Ripoll Jr. up into second place through the mist. So very, very difficult to tell which car is which in these conditions, because not only have we got rain and a slippery track, but now it's starting to get dark as well. Just the headlights blazing towards us. That very slippery downhill section into turn 1. 10 out of 10 for making it this far for all the drivers that have done so. At the moment, I believe it is Felipe Wills who's leading the way. I'm going to have to trust the timing screens here because I can't actually see the cars. Javier Ripoll Jr., what a job he is doing in car 91, up into second place, challenging Felipe Wills for the lead of the race. Marabi Mekbabishvili down into third place, but keeping it on the track. And that is what is important. There is Angelo Fontana, though, in the S1 Racing number 80 car, up into fourth place. He who dares wins in this, the Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe, in such challenging conditions. So here we go. There's Marabi Mekbabishvili. Angelo Fontana in the black and orange car behind him, tiptoeing his way around. Tobias Vasquez, he looked very useful in the previous race, so keep an eye on him. What a perspective we're getting from Javier Ripoll Jr. in the 91 car. Can he do anything about race leader Felipe Wills? He's going to give it a try, isn't he? So, single file at the moment. Drivers very wisely just keeping it together. Lead two cars have broken clear of third place Marabi Mekbabishvili by some distance. About 3.2 seconds as far as I can see between second and third place. So certainly mastering the conditions well. There is first the yellow and black car, Felipe Wills, and in the mist behind him will be Javier Ripoll Jr. There's your first and second. You can see that gap over third place now. Is that Marabi Mekbabishvili? I don't think it is. That looks to me like Angelo Fontana, who's found a route past and into third place. So S1 Racing, and there is a car going slowly. I can't see who that is either. You think the conditions are bad looking down. Imagine what it's like from the cockpit. But it's S1 Racing in second and third. We know that much at the moment with Javier Ripoll Jr. and Angelo Fontana. How are we doing in GT4? Well, at the moment, it is David von Rosen who's leading the way in the GT4 category because I do not see treble 8 on the screen. So whether Patrick Kunhar didn't take the start or whether something has happened to him, but treble 8 not showing up on the timing screen as we see Tobias Vasquez now taking a position away from Marabi Mekbabishvili. So the next car to push through, and that is into 4th place. So our pole sitter going backwards through the pack at the moment. And Marabi Mekbabishvili just concentrating to try and keep it all on the track. And you think you've got to be brave to go over that blind crest when the weather's dry. Just imagine what it's like when the weather is wet. Javier Ripoll Jr. with 0 visibility. Our cameras with just a little visibility as well. There is Marabi Mekbabishvili. He is in the all-black car there, the number 39. The Proton Huber competition in 4th place. Tobias Vasquez is in the number 121 car for Kramer Racing. And behind him is Alexander Dobik. We saw him for much of the previous race. This is going to be a long 24 minutes for many of these drivers. There are various incidents that are being noted by our race stewards, just keeping one eye on timing screens as well, just to make sure we're on top of any penalties that might arise. But a lot of the drivers just having to struggle, not to mention fighting for position, just struggling to keep it forward. Right, there is Evgenii Leonov, the number 16 car, crosses the line in 7th place. What an astonishing job. The driver who won the first race this afternoon started stone last, and in just under 7 minutes has made it from last place through to 7th place, and is going to be challenging the front runners in just a few moments. He is so dialed in. He's up behind Alexander Dobik at the moment. But what amazing progress. We saw how quick he was from the front. We're seeing how quick he is from the back. And there is the 23 car getting turned around. Eric Wagner getting together with Dominic Bastian. The split has gone on the 23 car as well. You can see that hanging off. That is going to be disastrous, particularly in these conditions. And I would suggest that if Eric Wagner can get the car rolling, he's probably going to bring it into retirement. It's out at turn 3, but you can see there was damage to the car as well. Meanwhile, Ajith Kumar is up into 15th place, just keeping out of trouble. So he's doing a good job from there as well. There's Us Indebitson in the number 9 FAC Auto Tech car, also tiptoeing his way around the corner. And as we speak, who's that goes spinning? That is the Ajith Kumar number 28 car. So the wet conditions just getting the better of him. Just has he kept the engine running? I think he has. Selecting a gear, he gets to rejoin, but probably not the race that he was looking forward to when he arrived at the circuit this morning. Now, I'm hoping he can get the car together, because if he can't, he can get it running. I think he's up at turn 10. If he can't get it running, then we will end up with a caution. There, Marabi Mekbabishvili now, unbelievably, the car that started on pole position being overtaken by the car that started stone last, and we're only 9.5 minutes into the race. What astonishing progress from Evgenii Leonov. We knew he was going to be quick, but to be that quick, now what can he do about the leaders? That is astonishing. Quickest man last time around was actually Javier Ripoll Jr. in 2nd place. He was some half a second quicker than Felipe Wills, our race leader. So we'll keep an eye on that 1.3 second gap. Good to see that Kumar's been able to rejoin, although the hazards are still flashing, but he is going to be absolutely stone last at the moment, and a lot of work to do if he wants to get back into a points paying position with a little over 20.5 minutes remaining of this race. So looking at the car sliding, Felipe Wills, the view on board, just look at him. Look as he's just balancing the steering wheel. You can see he is using his fingertips, just sensing every movement of the back of the car. You see him fighting. He gets out onto the curb. There is no grip to be had on the paint. He needs to avoid anything that's painted at all. Look at him, just concentrating on that wheel. That's Alexander Dobik pointing in the wrong direction. So he's had a moment as well. Turn 8, I think that was. He's able to rejoin. as Eric Santos. He finished the last race somewhere towards the back, but he is in 17th place at the moment, so he's all okay. We continue to monitor the progress of Evgenii Leonov into 4th place, around past Tobias Vasquez. Now, can he get up with the leading cars? That is phenomenal progress. He seems to be judging these wet conditions so well, but car number 16, for whatever reason, started in stone last, is now one position away from finishing on the podium. We haven't reached the halfway point of the race yet. We're only just past 1/3. Astonishing stuff from Evgenii Leonov. Now, just 13.2 seconds behind our race leaders. Can he get onto the podium? Well, there's confirmation. Fastest man on the track. You probably didn't need a graphic to tell you that. The car that will win in the GT4, providing he can get it back again, David von Rosen, 8th place overall. That is great driving from him. Let's just have a look up and down the pack at the rest of the cars. Andre Fernandez in there in 6th place. Lennart Hiemstra in 7th. Jan Van Roon in 9th ahead of Alexander Dobic. Then 11th place, Reinhold Kran. Lee Mole in 12th place ahead of Ernst Instablitzen. Peter Sander in 14th ahead of Eric Santos. Eric Wagner in 16th. And then we've got the cars that, we saw Mekvabishvili in trouble earlier on. Kasper Hockerboom looking good for 2nd place in the GT4 category. What a dramatic race, and a shame we couldn't go all the way under green flag. Having said that, green flag has just come up on the screen. So the cars just coming round the last few corners, but we've suddenly gone green despite the fact everybody is saying it's going to finish under full course yellow. I think the green might not be correct because I believe there is a medical car out on the track. So cars still circulating at a reduced speed, and into turn 15 for the very last time. What a drive. Felipe Wills, he had everything thrown at him, but he kept his cool when everybody else was losing theirs. He kept the car pointing in the right direction. He didn't overstep the mark. He fought off a number of attacks, and now his effort is going to be rewarded. It's going to be a win for Felipe Wills in car 912 through the darkness as nighttime descends at the Portimão circuit. The checkered flag will be waiting for Felipe Wills. He flashes the lights, crosses the line at a full course yellow speed to receive the checkered flag. Brilliant stuff. Angelo Fontana practically pushed across the line by Javier Ripoll Jr. That's your 1, 2, 3, your podium finishes. Next across the line, Tobias Vasquez. And then we wait for Evgenii Leonov. And he, well, driver of the day would be said by some. But Felipe Wills, that was an astonishing drive as well. He had so many drivers attacking him, but he didn't lose his head. He just kept it together and he brought it home for a race win, and you could see him celebrating in the car. Leonov through into 5th place, and he will be there thinking, well, that could have been a podium. That was very nearly a podium. Of course, it wasn't in the end. It was a very, very good 5th place. Then Andre Fernandez across the line next. That is in 6th place ahead of Lennart Hiemstra. And he comes home in 7th place. Then David von Rosen, who will be the winning GT4 car, assuming he can get it across the line. Still waiting just for confirmation that 223 is across the line. I think he is now any second, and he will win in the GT4 category. Wow, great stuff from the Porsche Sprint Challenge, Southern Europe, Club Division. Absolute entertainment. We've had 4 races today. All of them have been thoroughly entertaining. If you've missed any of them, wind it back on the YouTube. They're going to be up there for all to see. Brilliant stuff. Now, Tobias Vasquez in that 4th place for Kramer Racing. just to make sure that that is logged as well. Alexander Dobic, home in 10th place. We're still waiting for some of the cars to come across the line. Reinhold Kran, we're still waiting for him in 11th place to cross the line. Then it'll be Lee Mole in 12th place. Very challenging conditions and something to really test these drivers. Here comes the 28 car. Great that he's made it to the end. Ajith Kumar. The many fans from India who have tuned in to watch will be delighted with an 18th place finish. Just getting to the end is a win in itself in conditions such as these on a track as slippery as this. As we see Cruz just getting the Dominic Bastian car loaded on to the truck, ready to take that back to the garage. And the teams will set to work on that. Hopefully we will see all of these drivers at Estoril, and that is in a few weeks' time, 8th of February to be precise. We will be regathering in Estoril for the next 2 rounds of this remarkable series. We just wait for the cars now to make their way back. So Felipe Wills, the race winner, the Belgium driver, and he was second in Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe last year. He won at Estoril. He had a 6th and a 4th place at Valencia the year before. Last year was in Porsche Sprint Challenge Benelux. And he also guested in Porsche Carrera Cup Benelux in 23 as well. Let's have a look at the result. Felipe Wills, Angelo Fontana, Javier Ripoll Jr. That's your 1, 2, 3 ahead of Tobias Vasquez. Evgenii Leonov into 5th place from the back ahead of Andre Fernandez. Lennart Heemstra in 7th ahead of David Van Rosen, who wins in the GT4 Cup. Great job there. Janja van Roon is next as the graphic disappears ahead of Alexander Dobic and Reinhold Kran. And Limo rounding out the top 12. Right, let's have a look here. I think all of the drivers who finished on the podium must be absolutely buzzing. There is Philippe Wills, just receiving congratulations from the Proton Huber team, who do an amazing job preparing, and understandably delighted. A real test of man and machine. The weather, the challenge. Angelo Fontana, I've watched him race a few times in the past. I have not seen a drive quite like that from Angelo Fontana. The Est1 racing driver really showing his skills in these tricky conditions. And Javier Ripoll Jr. in the number 91, also for Est1 Racing. Good that those two didn't get together, finishing in the podium positions. So the cars and the drivers in Parc Fermé offering their congratulations. Philippe Wills, understandably, big smile. And that's Javier Ripoll Jr. Receiving congratulations from Piers, who's down there in the pit lane. And I think he's going to have a word with our race winner. So over to you, Piers.
Yes, down here with our race winner, Philip Wills. Philip, congratulations. What a hard-fought win. I bet that you've won a few races in your time, but I bet none were as hard-fought as that one.
It was the hardest, yes. Because I had aquaplaning, the car is slided everywhere. I always have to catch it. And I thought, yeah, the other guy was coming. So, and because of the cars we doubled, they stopped me, so it was very difficult to pass them. But I want to thank a lot of guys who supported me, especially Vasilis, a good friend, my engineer. He's a very good engineer, 100% motivated. Glenn, Willem van Kleef, my mentalist, and Vincent van der Valk. And now this team, they did a very great job to put the setup for the rain, for the dry, for everything. So I'm happy. I worked 6 months for it, and I'm very happy now that I won the race here. I didn't think it would happen, but I think this is the hardest circuit for me. The other three will be I think for me, I'm better.
We can see how much it means to you, and we can see how hard you've been working, because the
I
heat.
forgot something.
The heat.
I want to thank especially my very lovely wife. She supported me so hard. So
Amazing. Amazing. Philip, we can see how hard you've been working, the steam coming off your head. Brilliant. Well, anyway, congratulations, an amazing victory. Well done. I'm going to grab a word with our two Est Racing drivers, Est1 Racing. First of all, in second place, we had Al Fontana. Mr. Fontana, if you can grab a word with him. I'm just going to butt in here. Can we grab a quick word? Sorry to bring you out in the rain.
No problem.
What a difference a few hours can make.
Yeah, it's true. The rain. Yeah.
We saw, I was in your garage during race number 1 for the club division earlier. Contact, race over. The team worked really hard to get the car back on circuit, and then an excellent drive from yourself to nearly so close to getting victory.
I was looking to take first place, but it was hard. This guy did it really well. So at the end, full cold yellow, and it didn't help me.
No, but a great result for yourself to bounce back, and a good job from the team. Of course, a double podium.
Of course, I'm really happy for the team and for everything.
Amazing. Well, we'll let you celebrate the team, and I'll grab Javier Ripoll Jr. Javier, another great race from yourself. So, at times, it looked like you were going to win, then you dropped back, and it must have been dramatic in the car.
Actually, increased the rain increased a lot on the middle sector, and I started losing it. Then we got some traffic, and Angelo drove super well, and he got us. And I wasn't able to pass him. Angelo couldn't. I mean, Phillips drove amazingly in the rain. So, but the last turn was completely reverse crossing the thing. So, but it's okay. It was fun.
I've got a question. We were chatting when we were watching the pro class, and we were talking about whether you're going to be left foot braking or right foot braking. Just talk to us a bit about that.
I did right and left. I mean, both foot.
Both
feet. Yeah.
Depending on the corner.
Depending on the corner. Now, a couple parts you have to go both, and other ones, the hard breakers you have to do the right. Yeah. But that's it. I mean, it worked fine.
Yeah, because I remember you said to me that you've been working on. You're used to driving and braking with your right foot, and you've been moving to the left. And this race, you did a bit of both.
I made a seat, so it's easier to use both sometimes because the seat faces to the right.
Amazing. Javier, great result for yourself, great result for the team, and we'll see you on the podium very shortly. Brian, we're going to make our way up to the podium, so we'll let you talk through the highlights of what was an epic club division race 2.
Indeed it was. Thank you very much, Piers. Let's have a look again at what was an astonishing race, an astonishing display of skill in conditions. Well, you or I, we would have been parked up, wouldn't we? But these drivers are absolute gladiators in the arena. And it was the gladiator, Murabi Mekvabishvili, who lost the lead to Felipe Wills in the very first corner of this race. And Philippe never looked back from there, but the fights went on up and down the pack. We saw Murabi Mekvabishvili then having to defend very hard from Tobias Vasquez, another driver who had conquered the conditions. But what about Evgenii Leonov, starting from stone last, fighting his way up into 4th place before a moment saw him then dropping all the way back, and then fighting forwards again as we look at a replay of him with Tobias Vasquez running side by side, but Leonov finding grip where everybody else seemed to lose it. One driver losing the grip was Dominic Bastian. You saw the car pirouetting, and it was going to be a fairly sizable impact later on. It was going to bring a premature end to the race. Very popular Ajith Kumar also there as well, experiencing very, very testing conditions and showing extremely well. Alexander Dobic was very much in the fight all the way through the race and eventually came home in 10th place. There was Dominic Bastian. He was a back marker when Fleet Wheels was trying to get his way past, and that allowed Javier Ripoll Jr. to close in on the race leader, but was not able to make a move that would stick. And there, Alexander Dobic challenging Ajith Kumar for position. The number 28 car out along the pit straight. Took an awful lot of bravery for these drivers just to keep their foot buried on the floor as you headed into that heavy braking of turn 1. What a fight we had, first for second and then for the lead. The main drivers in it, Felipe Wills leading the way, Angelo Fontana and Javier Ripoll Jr. It was a fantastic battle, a clean battle. It's why we love Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe. And it was the win for Felipe Wills such a reward for such hard.
On the podium, the results for this race, and to start with, we're going to have the AM classification, which was an absolutely thrilling battle. But in the end, it was the number 91 from Venezuela who came third, Javier Ripoll Jr. Congratulations, Javier. Another podium. He's an experienced driver in this championship. Second place, also for the S1 racing teams. Second place, Angelo Fontana. A great comeback from him after a very difficult race one. And our winner, Philip Wills. Philip driving for the Proton Huber competition team. The Belgian driver taking victory, and we will now have the Belgian national anthem. Now the trophy presentation. First up, third place, Javier Ripoll Jr. receiving his trophy from series manager Lars Plato. Second place, Angelo Fontana, also from Venezuela. Not often we have two Venezuelans on a podium, but great to see that. And then the Belgian winner, Philip Wills, very hard-fought victory. A great race from all three of those drivers, and they raise the trophies aloft. We'll see if they're going to spray the champagne after the photos, because they're already wet, so they might as well get extra wet with some champagne. We'll see what goes on here. Javier Ripoll Jr. going for it. A trophy's gone, and the champagne being sprayed. Not the first time for these guys, as you can tell. Just as professional on circuit as they are at spraying champagne. Congratulations to our AM classification, my apologies, AM classification for the round 2 of the Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe. And the final podium of this round. The final podium of this round will be the GT4 classification up in a moment. Not the most populous class, however, nonetheless, the drivers deserving of their podium. And it was in second place, Kaska Hogaboom. Hogaboom. Onto the podium, please. In second place. And in first place, from Germany, David von Rosen. Congratulations, David. I believe his first race weekend, taking a victory. What a dream that is. Brilliant, brilliant racing. I mean, they both did well to manage the conditions out there. As you can see, the rain falling just as heavy now as it was during the race. And the darkness is descending in Portugal. Congratulations to our podium once again, and we will be having the German national anthem in just a moment, I believe. Yes, German national anthem will be played now for David von Rosen. David has a flight to catch, unfortunately. So David has run off. So therefore, we won't be having the national anthem of Germany. However, that brings to a close what has been an absolutely outstanding start to the Porsche Sprint Challenge Southern Europe, rounds 1 and 2 in both the sport and club classifications here from Portimão, Algarve circuit. It's been great. We started off the morning in sort of light conditions, and we ended the day in rain, but the racing was scintillating nonetheless. Thank you very much to Brian Oliver for talking us through all of the action today in the commentary box. Thank you also to all of the marshals who have been out on circuit in these horrible conditions, and the camera operators for Alpha Live as well. We hope you've enjoyed the broadcast today, and please do join us again for rounds 3 and 4 from Estoril on the 8th of February. Thank you very much and goodbye.
இப்போது புதிய அறிமுகம் ஆச்சி ஹோட்டல் சாம்பார் 50 கிராம் ரூபாய் 20 மட்டுமே.
Taste Daily. Taste the Daily.
மிஸ்டர் கோல்ட் கடலை தான் வாங்குறேன். ஏன் தெரியுமா? சாதாரண ஆயிலை விட சமையல் டேஸ்டாவும் இருக்கும், ஹெல்தியாவும் இருக்கும்.